So last week I had an acupuncture appointment. I had put it in my schedule. They sent a reminder. I knew I had the appointment. As the day went on, I got distracted. I was feeling really tired. I chose to lay down and do some stretching and a meditation. Actually didn't fall asleep, but I was gave myself permission to have some downtime. Completely forgot about my appointment. So then I get this text message saying, had you on the schedule, you're not here. I felt so bad. Also, fear set in because nowadays, if you don't show up for an appointment, they charge you anyway, right? And I want to respect uh, the acupuncturist time. I do respect and I want to honor his time. And I made a mistake. It was an accident. I got the reminders. I had it in my schedule. Even that morning, I was planning on going. Um, I had just gotten so tired in that moment or whatever. I chose to rest and ended up forgetting that I was supposed to be resting at acupuncture, right? It's a mistake. So many of us have learned how to shame ourselves and talk mean to ourselves. So I felt so bad. I felt this narrative was like, of course you forgot. You're so stupid. Why did you knew you had that appointment? I can't believe it. You let that person down. He's going to charge you. It's going to cost you a bunch of money. And it's all because you wanted to take care of yourself. Well, that just costed you X amount of dollars. I am shaming myself for making a mistake. I am shaming myself for an accident. I'm shaming myself for not being perfect. And I'm going to give you another recent mistake I made. And it's even worse than that one. So I was backing out of my driveway. Backing out of the garage. And I ran into the garage door opener rail and sideswiped my car in my own garage. So I damaged the garage door and my car, scraped it up and cracked, did some physical damage to the car. It was like I was so ashamed. I know no one else has ever, scratched their car or, scratched, ran into something when you were backing out of your driveway. And yet I shamed myself so bad. I just thought I was the worst. The worst. Like, that the narrative is like, you should know better. I also know the narrative for shame is should. Like, you should know better. You should do better. You should have been looking. You should have been making, you should have been paying attention. You should have had an alarm so that you didn't forget about the acupuncture thing. It's like the perfectionism of I am not allowed to make a mistake. I think most of us have learned this. It could be from childhood, it could be from a caretaker, from a teacher, a coach. It doesn't really matter. Everybody has it to some degree. Some of us have it way worse than others. And what I want to talk about is the difference between guilt and shame and how to tell what the difference is, because we need to use logic and questions. So, in that moment, shame wants to weigh me down. And the problem with shame is there's absolutely no solution. So when I think the core difference of shame and is guilt is I did something wrong. Shame says I am something wrong. So guilt is going to focus on behavior, and it can actually motivate us to change. Where shame focuses on identity and labels us like it's a sin, like it's a character flaw. Um, like even being able to say I made a mistake versus I am a mistake. So I label myself as wrong, bad, stupid, dumb, and there's no action to take. It becomes an identity. Where guilt offers, it extends a hand. It invites us. It welcomes us. It shows an opportunity. I also think of guilt, like I always think of the G's stick together. So I always think of God is a G and G for guilt. God doesn't want us to feel bad. He wants to show us a solution. If you don't like the word God, you could use it as gift or love. But I just wanted to remember what the difference between guilt and shame was. So shame, I always was with the S, it reminded me of Satan, or should. S for shoulds equals shame. And so I tried just so that I could really what does a gift offer? Like when I make a mistake, there really is a gift underneath that because there's something to learn from it. I know when I make mistakes, I learn a lot. And sometimes we have to make the same mistake, but there's something to learn from every mistake. And I used to have somebody tell me all the time, you're either going to love it or learn from it. So when I make choices and I make decisions, I might get it right and it might go wonderful. And if not, I'm going to learn. I'm going to grow. There's some that from experience, I get something out of it. So I gave you 2 examples of where my mind wanted to rip me into a new one, just rip me apart with self-hate and shame and label me as I am the mistake. I am somebody who, ruins their car, that doesn't know how to drive. I am a bad driver. I am a bad patient. I am bad with schedules and appointments, and I am wrong. So what we're doing is in those moments, it can really when I ran into the house, the garage with my car, and I'm thinking, oh man, this is, and again, money, in both those examples, money played a kind of intensified the fear of like, how much is this going to cost me? So it threatens it threatens my livelihood when it's a financial burden, right? But I'm going to give you some other ones too, like yelling at a child. If I yell, there's the guilt is I yelled at my child. That wasn't how I wanted to handle it. Next time I can take a breath in first, right? So I can feel guilt and shame around parenting, and guilt extends a solution. It extends a hand, a behavior change. Like there's something I can do next time that's different. Where shame is I yelled at my child, I must be a bad mom. Or even if our child is acting out, I can use that as I'm a bad mom. They're acting out because I'm a bad mom. Or maybe I don't know the skill to handle the bad behavior. So instead of I'm a bad mom because my child is acting out, the truth is my child is acting out and needs help. Is there a behavior that I can do to help my child who's acting out? Do I need to build a better skill set to understand how to facilitate even different ways of handling things with, you know, not only my behavior, but maybe even my child's behavior? Is love offering a solution for the child's behavior and or my behavior? I gave you the example of forgetting an appointment. I forgot my appointment. Next time, I feel like for me in that moment, it was just shame. There was no guilt. Guilt was not it's not something that happens all the time. Like it was just a mistake. It was an accident. And so I did have a reminder. I did put it in my calendar. I did look at my calendar. I had every intent of making that appointment. And I didn't make it. I made a mistake. I am not a mistake. I made a mistake. Is there something I can do next time? I don't think so. I don't even feel like there's a solution for that. Like I can be okay with it's okay to make a mistake. Instead of shame is like there's no hope. There's no way out of this. You're a jerk. You're a jerk because you made a mistake. The acupuncturist is going to think you're a jerk. You are a jerk. Who doesn't honor their appointment when they say they're going to be there? Shame has no solution. It just beats me up. And there's no corrective action. I just have to take it that I'm a jerk. Where love extends, love is gentle, love is forgiving, and that's what I believe God is. So when I think of guilt, guilt also is loving, it's patient, it's gentle, it's offering a solution. It's not, you know, beating you with a stick so that you'll be better next time. No, it's just beating you. Um, Taking time for ourselves, right? Like going to the gym is important. Having alone time is important. Refilling our cup, self care, is important. But as moms, as wives, as um, we have responsibilities and we have people counting on us, and sometimes we take too much responsibility for other people's feelings and behaviors. And I'm even when I'm trying to do something nice for myself, there might be that little, like, I don't really deserve this. I'm not good enough. I'm not deserving. See, again, I attach an identity with a behavior. So, when I go out with my girlfriends instead of doing laundry, or I go out with my girlfriends and I'm missing time to spend with my family, um, there I need to understand, is guilt talking or is shame talking? Because shame says something like, I went out with my friends, I'm selfish, my kid is going to forget about me, my kid's going to feel abandoned. Good moms don't put themselves first. That's shame because there's, I'm just putting myself down. Where sometimes I just have to ask myself, if am I a bad mom for taking care of my body by going to the gym? Am I a bad mom by taking some time for myself and seeing a girlfriend? Now, let's say I was doing this all the time and I really was neglecting my son and abandoning him. That's then guilt is offering a solution. And so sometimes what I would do is I would ask myself, you know, does it feel better to never to not go to the gym? Does it feel better to not see my friends? And when I think about, like, my friends are missing me and they want to spend time with me and they want to celebrate me, and I blow them off because I feel like I'm a bad mom if I go out. The more questions I ask, the more I get into the conscious mind and the logic around, is this wrong? Is there another action that feels right? Because our egos and our subconscious are trying to keep us the same, and it will tear us apart trying to figure out, is this shame? Is this guilt? Who's it? Like, it, to me, it feels the same. And so really identifying and being aware, like, who's talking right now? And I usually, it's like, sometimes guilt, when I need to change a behavior, like, who really wants to admit, maybe I am ignoring my kids and maybe I am working too much, maybe I am spending too much time outside the home? um who wants I mean, that, to me, that is hard to admit too. So getting accurate, getting the facts around what really the truth is. So then I have to start asking myself, well, how many times have I gone out this week? Let's get the facts. If it's bad to go out with my friends, how many times have I gone out with my friends in the last week, in the last month? What feels right? What feels like a balance of, you know, what are my values as far as being a mom, and am I willing to take time to take care of myself and spend that time nurturing and loving and taking care of me so that I have it to actually give and be a good parent? Um, this was one too for me, like like letting my kids watch screen. Um, so the guilt might look like this: I let my kids watch TV longer than I wanted. Tomorrow I'll try a different activity. Shame will say, I let my kids watch TV. I'm lazy and failing as a mom. So shame labels me, it calls me names, it identifies me, where guilt is describing behavior. And when it describes, when it shows me a behavior, there's another behavior to replace it. It doesn't just label the behavior, it is accurate and honest and truthful about a behavior, and it offers a stepping stone or choice or an alternate action. Um, and so moms feel guilty. Women, as women, whether you're a mom or a wife, we just have this natural instinct to nurture, and it's been passed down. It's ancestral. I mean, it's has to do with generations and generations passing down these roles that women take on. And so there's a cultural pressure, a society pressure on women to, first of all, be superwoman, right? And then, um, and like do it all messaging that, that we got. Good moms do it all. You know, they make a living, they keep a household, they keep their husbands happy, they discipline the kids. It's like, you know, it was a lot even when women solely stayed at home. And then now we're trying to do that on top of work full time. And no wonder women are having nervous breakdowns. um, yeah, we're doing too much. And so there is definitely a cultural pressure that adds to this mom shame. I've heard it called mom guilt, but really it's mom shame. The comparison trap, right? I compare myself, well, with other people, with other moms, with other women, with other people. You know, I see a highlight or, you know, a positive, you know, I see the best, I see someone in the best light and admire for them in that area. And I compare myself with that instead of seeing the whole picture. I just see these little glimpses of, oh, that person's amazing here. And I compare myself with that, but I'm taking the one little blurb of their amazingness and comparing it to the whole picture of, you know, and maybe I'm even comparing um this one little good thing that they have with my like big, you know, defect or mistake over here. So again, we have unrealistic expectations. So this also feeds that mom shame. So what we're trying to do is break that cycle. There's no question there is unrealistic expectations. Maybe we've learned it, but we get to break it by really becoming aware. Is it shame? Is it guilt? And getting really clear on what the message is. And is it weighing me down, or is it inspiring me to do something different? Do I just feel bad, or is there an action to take? Usually, when I can see that there's an action to take, that's guilt. When I just feel bad and there's like nothing to do, that's shame. So we want to reframe when we find, um, you know, when we find that it's shame, we want to rewire and reframe it with love. You know, I think women in general just care so deeply, and they're quick to notice mistakes because we want to keep people safe. Our job is to nurture and keep our kids safe. And so we've become like hypersensitive to mistakes, and we're just, because we care so much, we've been over responsible with trying to prevent mistakes, avoid mistakes. um, and again, it's that unrealistic expectation that there won't be any mistakes. And we're trying to be perfect, and it's killing us, it's hurting us. And so we we have to understand that guilt can actually be useful. It points to a behavior you can change. Shame is destructive. It attacks your identity and leaves you feeling bad and heavy and exhausted. So consider, when you're feeling heavy and weighed down and stuck and exhausted, that shame is the culprit. Shame is weighing you down. Shame is calling you names. So we want to reframe is, I can make mistakes and still be a good mom. My worth isn't on trial. So I love when I notice that it's shame, it's like, and that there's no action to take, like with the car. I mean, I really had to practice being loving to myself and gentle. What would love say? What does love say to a mistake? I had an accident. I did not on purpose try to break the car or the garage door. I didn't on purpose try to miss my acupuncture appointment. I was not doing it on purpose. I was not being lazy. It was an accident. It was a mistake. There's nothing to punish. There's nothing to do. What would love do? Love is kind. Love is gentle. Love is patient. Love is understanding. So in that moment, I put my hand on my heart, and I had to just say, it's okay. It was a mistake. It's just a thing. It's just a car. It's just a garage. You are important. You are safe. It's okay. You're okay. Mistakes happen. I need love in that moment. I need to understand that I'm still okay. I'm not stupid. It doesn't happen every day, thank heavens. And even if it were to happen again, labeling myself and degrading myself and hating on myself is not going to give me the self-esteem and confidence and love to keep going. And shame ends up hurting me in other affairs. So this is about identifying what is weighing me down. And when it's shame, and we call it what it is. You know, shame is destructive. And so in that moment, when I actually know what it is, if it's shame or if it's guilt, then I have a choice. I have agency to choose. I'm either going to keep choosing shame, which is destructive, or I'm going to choose love. I'm going to choose action to do something different. If there's a behavior that needs to change, that's one thing. Both things need love. Guilt and shame need love. And remember, when I define myself, when I define love, love is a solution. It's an offering. It has open hands. It has open arms for me. It wants the best for me. Love wants the best for you. So what would love do? As soon as I can recognize there's some thinking going on here, there's a feeling in my chest or in my gut. You know, our bodies give us signals all the time. Maybe your neck gets tight. Maybe you feel like a headache is coming on. Is it shame or is it guilt? Shame can be doing destructive things that have no solution. It's a hopeless, powerless, useless, destructive way to look at life. So what we're doing is we're opening our perspective and our attitudes and our focus. We're going to focus on love. I can't wait to hear your results. We want to track these events, these feelings, these signals that our body gives us. We want to track it. What circumstances are causing these signals? The signal of shame, the signal of guilt. What is this? What is that in that? What is the circumstance? Because there's usually a pattern. So track this week the signal of shame and guilt. And what are the circumstances that your body gives you that feeling? Because remember, our feelings are signals. So it's giving you a signal somewhere in your body. We want to name the feeling, name the signal, shame or guilt. What is it saying? What does it need? Let me know how it goes.